Welcome back to Open Window Politics. Today we're going to be going through the latest polls for the 2024 presidential election. I'll be giving you guys my insights on them. So here we're on the 538, who's favored to win the 2024 presidential election. And currently it's essentially a dead heat. Biden is winning 50 times out of 100, and Trump is winning 49 times out of 100. Here's the breakdown of what they predict the makeup of the Electoral College votes will be, kind of a relatively accurate prediction. It's probably going to be one of the ones towards the middle, but it gives you an idea of what the Electoral College votes are likely to go for and for which candidate. And then lately, we get to the polls that are a little more recent. We've been seeing a little bit better news for President Biden on the national level. I still think Trump is likely the favorite to win if the election were to be held today, but it is getting a little bit closer of a margin. Currently, Biden is getting up by 1 or 2, usually about 1 point. There's a few polls from June 12th and 10 to 12th where Trump is up by 1, but certainly within the margin of error, pretty close. And but things have been looking a little better for Biden in the last few polls. He's used to be down by quite a bit. Now he's narrowly favored to win according to the 538 model. But it does seem like if Biden were to win the Electoral College, he's probably going to need to get at least a 3% lead in the popular vote, just because of the way Democrats and of where Republicans and Democrats live. So we'll have to see what ends up happening. But it is interesting to see that these polls are getting a little closer for the Biden campaign. And we'll have to see what happens in the long run, but it gives us a decent indicator of what will happen in the 2024 presidential election. There was also a recent Fox News poll that came out that had Biden up by 2, which was a little surprising. And there could be a variety of factors that are impacting this. The Trump conviction could play a role in Biden doing a little bit better among independents. Not many Republicans or Democrats were necessarily swayed by the conviction, but even if 1 or maybe 2% of independents are swayed by it, it can help bring the election to Biden and help give him a better chance on defeating Trump on the presidential level. And then we'll be going over some of the going over the forecast over time. So narrowly, Biden has generally been up by a very small percentage. Trump is kind of closing in. This has been the closest it has ever been. And then we'll here are each of the swing states. So currently Georgia and North Carolina are likely to go to the Republican Party. We'll check on Georgia first. So it is lean Republican, and then in Arizona, we'll go to Arizona. So Trump is currently favored to win the state of Arizona in most situations. He's been up in pretty much all these polls, as you can see. We'll have to actually see what happens on election day, but that is what 538 predicts. And then we get to a couple other states. We'll go to Nevada here. Nevada is probably, we can see it at the top there. So 56 out of the 100 times they run the model, Trump is the victor in Nevada. And then we'll move over to some other swing states. We'll go back to Georgia. So in Georgia, Trump is winning 60 out of the 100 times, so he's got a 60% chance of victory. And those are pretty good odds for the Trump campaign, especially since they lost the state of Georgia in 2020. And then in Texas, let's see what Texas is. It is got a 22% chance of Biden winning it, which is probably not going to happen this time around, but it certainly is narrowing up slightly in, not Montana. Anyhow, we get to some other states. We'll go to Minnesota, which is going to be a close margin. Biden is currently narrowly ahead. He's winning 70 out of the 30 times. We'll go to the rest of the Rust Belt here. So in Wisconsin, Biden is winning 55 out of 100 times. He's got a narrow lead, but a lead nonetheless. There's that one poll that had Biden up by 5, which is kind of swaying the average, but we'll have to see what happens. But it is a decent indicator. Here's another poll of Trump up by 5. That's a little less recent, but could be an interesting factor. And next up, let's check out the popular vote. So Biden is predicted to win by about 2.1%. If that'll be enough to win the Electoral College, we'll have to see. And next up, we'll go to the other 2 Rust Belt states. We'll go to Michigan here. And in the state of Michigan, Biden is winning 58 out of 100 times, so he's actually got a better chance in Michigan than he does in Wisconsin. But he is also favored to lead in the state. Then we'll go to arguably one of the biggest swing states, where the state of Pennsylvania, where Biden is winning 54 out of 100 times, compared to Trump's 46 out of 100. These latest polls have Trump up by a few points but there's also from May, Biden up by 3, so it's probably not going to be 3 points. That's a bit far. It's probably just going to be 1 point, maybe 2 for whoever wins the state, but it's going to be close regardless. So these polls just kind of give us accumulation of averages, and we'll have to see what ends up actually happening on election day. And then we'll go to some other states here. So in North Carolina, which is kind of the Biden campaign's only chance to to expand on their lead from 2020, is to win North Carolina. And they are slightly less favored than in Georgia, just by 2 points it looked like. So we'll have to see what happens, but that is likely what will be happening for the Trump campaign. They are still projected to win the state of North Carolina as well as Georgia. Let's check on Florida here. Florida looks like it's definitely going to the Republican Party. Biden is winning it 25% of the time, so likely not enough to have a chance in Florida. It's probably going to be a lean or probably even likely state, but we'll have to see what happens. And then next up, we'll go to the path to 270 for each of these candidates. So we get, this prediction has Trump winning kind of the Sun Belt, and including Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, Texas, with Biden winning the Rust Belt, maintaining his hold on Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Nebraska's 2nd District, Minnesota, New Hampshire, and a bunch of other states there. And so Biden is projected to win, but narrowly, and we'll have to see what ends up happening, but it is an interesting forecast to see what the odds are of each race throughout the country. And then we'll go over to the latest polls now to see what has been going on. So as you can see, there's been a variety of Biden up by a narrow percentage, but there are certainly things that could change this before Election Day, so it's good to view this with skepticism. Then we'll go over to the possible scenarios. So there is a very likely chance that Biden wins the national popular vote. He has a 62% chance of that happening compared to Trump's 38% chance, and I do think that he is likely going to win the popular vote, but I don't know if it will be enough to win the Electoral College vote. The Electoral College vote is really the one that matters, so we'll have to see what happens. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions about any of the predictions or polls or anything I discussed today, and